Today, I would like to talk to you about aesthetics, specifically the aesthetics I find very fascinating and what I try to incorporate into my bedroom and life. Now, to talk about aesthetics, let's first define it, or just repeat what Merriam-Webster has defined it as in the second definition. I don't know how to read this. Anyways, a particular theory or conception of beauty or art, a particular taste for or approach to what is pleasing to the senses and especially sight. Now, for our purposes today, what I mean when I say aesthetic is just general attributions of a design, whether that be in interior design, in how you dress, or in just an object, in anything really. For me, it's very similar, a little more vague, but what I'm saying is I'm not looking at hard and fast definitions for specific aesthetics. I simply want to surround myself with things that make me happy. Many of those things happen to mesh well with certain aesthetics that I've attached myself to. If that makes no sense to you, take dark academia, for example. I love this aesthetic. I've been reading now more than ever, and my bedroom is full of things that I would identify as dark academic things. And again, I have more of those now than ever. I'm at a weird transitioning point, and for right now, I'm happy with where I'm at. I still have goals and changes I'd like to make, but for right now, there aren't going to be any more major changes to this room. And I think that's partly why I'm making this video now. I've been sitting on this idea practically since the creation of this channel, but a little bit of executive dysfunction has kept me from doing a lot of the things that I actually want to do. And I really did not want to tour a room that was going to change so drastically in such short bursts of time. Especially when I felt that my skills as a YouTuber and editor weren't really up to snuff. But fuck it, I've rambled long enough. Let's get on with each part of my bedroom and what that all means to me. And at the end, I'm going to give you my PC setup info from what's actually in the PC to some of my favorite streamer tech, plus some advice for your own bedrooms and decoration habits. Now, on with the tour. I've got many hobbies, so many of which I'd like to say are on the back burner, but truth be told, I get bored of reading manuals and watching tutorials, and I just want to make things. Let's lightning round all the machines I've bought and toyed around with, but never actually properly made something with. Sticker printer, Ender 3D printer, heat press, Circuit Solo, Sawgrass inkjet printer, embroidery machine. I would love to do more with all of these, and hopefully one day I will, but similar to Twitch and YouTube, I have other things that are gonna come first. But they are there for me, ready and waiting for when I eventually return to them. Other than that, I am very into woodworking, and that might come as a surprise to a lot of people. I don't want to brag or anything, but I built a lot of what you're actually looking at in my bedroom. I built the coat rack. Yeah, those leaf hooks, I found those. Yeah, they're at Home Depot. Yeah, they were on aisle 13, bay 13. That shelf? Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I needed my dad's help because yeah, that is literally just two big wood planks that weren't cut down at all. And yeah, we did design and make the supports together, if you were wondering. And yeah, same with the desk. One big piece of cabinet grade plywood, a sand and a stain later, and boom, desk. The legs and the trim are also at Home Depot. I didn't bother to find the bay or aisle they were on. And I didn't make this, but I did buy this coffee table and offer up and refinish it. I can't remember if it was originally black or green, but you could see that the previous owners had painted over that, so I sanded down past the original layer to expose just the pure raw wood, and I went from there with the painting and staining. And yeah, the glass is broken, so I sanded that part down too, and it wasn't like that when I bought it, but yeah, I did break it, so I need to replace the top glass part eventually. Alright, so right off the bat, I have a decent collection of books. I just realized I'm not... I took my flannel off because it got hot. There it is. I can make a whole video just talking about all of those and some recommendations. Right now, real quick, I just want to point out the little book nook on my bookshelf, which is so fucking cute. Look at that, it's amazing, it's incredible, and I love it, and the lights turn on. What a lovely little cafe book nook. If I could find a link to that, I will share it, of course, but this was a Christmas gift from a few years ago, so I don't know if I could do that. I will try. I do want to quickly mention my favorite book and how reading has helped me as just a habit that I've managed to keep on top of, where I've stumbled on a lot of other habits. So my favorite book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And if I'm saying that wrong, my apologies for, definitely butchering it. I don't speak Portuguese, so I don't have much of a grasp on the pronunciation, which is also why I read the English version of this book. Anyways, without spoilers, The Alchemist is about Santiago, a shepherd boy leaving what he knows behind to find his own personal legend and his treasure, which he has dreamed of. Of course, he faces many hardships that would lead most to say it is stupid to chase a literal dream and that it obviously meant nothing, but his dedication to the pursuit of his personal legend would eventually lead him across North Africa to a wise old man, a merchant, an Englishman, an alchemist who would teach him alchemy, a woman he would love more than anyone, and finally to the pyramids of Egypt, the place he sees in his dreams. And there is a bit of a twist that I happen to love, but again, no spoilers. Please go read it yourself, and I think a lot of you would probably love it as much as I do. Now, onto reading as a habit that has helped me each day. I first want to start with the fact that I read every day 2 years ago when I made it my goal to do so. Just a chapter each night, which is admittedly harder for me than I'd like to admit, but the benefits were astounding. When I shut my phone all the way off, charged it away from my bed, picked up a book, I could finally give my body a break. I am receiving no blue light from any form of technology. I get a break from all the stimulants of sight and sound that the phone gives, and my body knows that right after reading, it's bedtime because that's the habit I'm building. So it's helpful to fall asleep easier in almost every way. Now, I can make a whole video on healthier sleeping habits too, as someone who struggles frequently to sleep and has done a lot of research about this, but we're here to talk about books. What I started this year was reading one chapter of usually fiction right before bed to help me go to sleep, and then in the morning, one chapter of nonfiction of something that I usually want to learn about. So I'm enforcing reading as a habit. I can stay unplugged for much longer after I wake up and when I go to bed, and I can actually do some learning right away. This is also easier for me as someone who's a lot less of a morning person than I was just a few years ago. It's helped a lot to just get on with something during the morning time. Rather than just wasting time lying there or scrolling for who knows how long, I get to do something productive and learn while putting in very little physical effort. And for me, that is an invaluable first step between being dead asleep and getting started with the day. Okay, plants. I'll keep this one brief since my collection of indoor plants is at an all-time low. This is my first ever plant, a lucky bamboo I made my mom buy me at Aldi's one day. And somehow it has managed to survive for years under my care, so that's pretty impressive in it of itself. Alongside it are some more lucky bamboo, which can use some more rocks to stabilize them, and I promise I am working on that, as well as switching out the water, which is well overdue for all my plants, I will admit. I've got another type of bamboo up here too, and it's definitely also seen better days. Same goes for my snake plant, which somehow keeps dying bit by bit. I'm trying to keep these plants alive, I promise. I was at one point good at this. I'm fallen off hard. And I've got some bulb plants. I believe they are amaryllis, although that could be wrong. They are consistently doing the best, and I have no real strategy for them either. They are just absolutely resilient. And finally, I've got many, many, many avocado seeds. Why do I have so many avocado seeds, you may be wondering? Truth be told, we eat a lot of avocados, and they all have a seed inside. That's pretty much it. Now, my plans with all of them are as follows. Okay, real quick, just like my watering schedule for them, I completely forgot about all the hanging plants right there, this area. So that pretty much sums up how I've taken care of those. Yeah. Now, taking a look at my desk setup here, I've got a lot going on. You can see a Harry Potter poster I got at Target on one wall, and on the other, I have a flower dance poster from Stardew Valley. This is not an official product. It is made by small business Thread and Thistles, who I highly recommend. Now the next two I got at Anime Pasadena 2022. If you follow me on Instagram, you may remember I went with my friend Andre. I actually bought this Toph poster there and actually had it signed by her voice actress Jessie Flower. And it turns out that's like her stage name. I did not realize that when I got it signed. That's crazy. And then I got this Spider-Man oil painting print from another vendor there. I could not for the life of me find the name of it, so if anyone has any idea, please let me know. And links to everything I mentioned will be in the description below. Also, you may notice this is a double desk setup. If I were on my own, this would be very useful to hold all my machines that I've already mentioned. But I left the left side for my girlfriend so we could play games together side by side. And I'll show off everything once we get there. Anyways, you can see I've got some floating bookshelves here too. I love them very much, and those are also going to be in the description. Wonderful Harry Potter, dark academia vibes, which I love. I did actually put them a bit high though, so it kind of ruins the illusion when you sit under them at the desk. I also have a little placard here from my time in robotics. I loved being a part of the club in high school, and I do keep this up with pride. I also go back to volunteer sometimes and it's always good fun. Moving on, I've got my pegboard with all the necessities like my Dubby shaker collection. I also want to point out the Kiki's delivery service poster that was on the top. It is also from a small business I found at Anime Pasadena. They are called Tsundere Sharks and they are on Instagram too. And you can kind of just see other things that I use all the time. Scissors, pencil, a box of gum, a rubber band ball, and peep the PewDiePie microfiber cloth. I do have a double webcam setup right now too. I've been considering doing study streams, so I have my C920 off to the side and my Logitech Brio as my main webcam. I also use Elgato key lights to light up the scene when I stream, and as you can see, I also have two little guys hanging out on those. The microphone I'm using right now is the Shure MV7. It is definitely not a starter mic, so it's a bit pricier, and I decked it out with a new windscreen, shock mount, and pop filter, so hopefully it won't need replacing anytime soon. If you're curious about my keyboard, I'm using the Razer Black Widow V3, which is a 100% keyboard with all the bells and whistles, and the keycaps I just found on Amazon. I'm currently debating with myself on whether to change out the keycaps or the mouse pad to match the other one. As for my mouse, it is the Razer DeathAdder Pro V2 because I love Razer, I love seeing the color on the lights, and I love all the pretty stars on the mouse despite having never played Genshin Impact. Now I kind of glossed past it here, but I do own a Stream Deck and I have found it immensely useful during live streams in the past. But I will say, be careful with which one you buy. For me personally, the Mini and the XL versions are equally useless. I like a nice in-between amount of buttons, where if I need anything less, I could somehow fill in the empty space, and if I need anything more, I can simply switch profiles with the click of a button. I've got some beautiful Wally cups here with pens inside, and right underneath I've added a little drawer with, surprise, more pens, because I like taking notes for my online classes in multiple colors. Underneath I've got my own Munbin, if that's how you pronounce that, which is a sticker printer that uses heat to print solely in black rather than waste any ink, and some tools to create some wax seals on letters because I find that very fun, and it's just cute to add onto a letter for special occasions. Underneath you can see my hoard of Dubby tubs atop my Xbox 360. My Switch dock is also here where I charge my Switch in between sessions of BMO Face 10 hours on YouTube, and hiding sneakily underneath is my PS2, which I desperately need to get fixed, if you could even see it. Pushing past the PCs for now, you could see my girlfriend's half of the desk, starting off with a big cat bowl from Target that I got for Halloween this year, appropriately filled with vampire ring pops. You can also see all their trinkets like little GGs, dragons, and dinosaurs scattered all over, and I think it adds a lot to their half's personality. Up on what's supposed to be a monitor stand, you can see we've got thumbtacks for the corkboard I made, along with a Lego flower set we built together, and a cup absolutely filled with business cards. In an old Pokemon mug of mine, you can see some dried roses and sage next to some paper shapes from Taylor Swift pre-orders, and a Virgo candle, which I'm sure requires no explanation. This part's fun. Underneath their Black Widow 10 keyless and 80% keyboard from Razer is this cute green mousepad with a hidden void cat. I also bought them some cloud wrist rests, and both could be found on Amazon. And here's me testing their mouse. I don't know what it is. Underneath, their side does have shelves too, where very quickly you could see a sticker book I got from the Juicebox Club, who I'm a huge fan of, and a book I got off Amazon titled Meow that I think is a very good read for cat lovers. I also forgot to mention, but along with the little snacks down here, I put this other drawer in right underneath where more snacks lay inside. And finally, on the bottom level, there are a bunch of books and a little bronze monkey bookend. It does kind of fall over in the back, but that's only because I needed to use my clipboard for something, so it stopped holding the books in place. Now onto what everyone's been waiting for. My first PC here was put together by me, and it does currently include all the parts listed on screen. Not the greatest, but it does work. I'm currently looking at upgrading the RAM for this one, and then my PC, what I'm currently using, is a pre-built from Build Redux. It has all the parts listed on screen as a baseline and is generally a pretty good PC. It held up incredibly strong over the past almost 2 years of owning it, and it shows no signs of slowing down. I will say, for anyone out there wondering if buying a pre-built is for you, that I had a lot more fun building my own PC from scratch, and that when I do look at getting another, I'm going to be making it from individual parts and really customizing the hell out of it. But I did get to try both sides, and that's just how it ended up for me. And that's nothing against Build Redux either. They did a great job, and I love this PC. You personally might not enjoy building a PC like I do. That's up to you to decide. Alright everyone, I hope you liked the tour. I did talk a lot about aesthetics at the beginning of the video and then not a whole lot during the actual tour itself. Again, I really don't identify myself with any one type of aesthetic except for maybe a hoarder or a maximalist if you want to soften the blow a little. I just like certain things. I like a certain natural vibe that comes with things like cottagecore, or the old wooden furniture in Dark Academia. I like the incorporation of plants and things like solar tech or farmhouse aesthetics, and you can see both of those in things I have like my woodworking furniture, or dark academia in particular parts of my shelves. Most of all, I like things that tell a story. I like having unique, beautiful items that someone could come and ask about when they come to visit. And I could say, yeah, that tea set is actually older than I am. It was my great-grandma's. She got it in Panama when she lived there for a little bit. What my advice is to everyone out there watching is to own things that make you happy, and to be okay with living without other things. I used to have a much worse spending problem than I do right now, and that is saying something. But I think if I was how I am now, I would have been a little more thoughtful in some of the things I did buy in the past. I would advise you to be more thoughtful in your purchases as well. When I do eventually move, I do think it would be nice to have a room that's more cohesive and that does stick to just one specific aesthetic. But until such a time, I am happy, my room is usable, and I could get a lot done in the space I am provided. Oh, and by the way, this is a garage, so if you're weirded out by the layout or the size of this room, then that would be why. Hey, I have a new Discord server. If you were a part of the previous one, things may look very familiar and that could be a great thing. But there's lots of new additions too, and I really wanted to feel a separation for what we have now from what we had before. So I've been working very hard for something I think everyone will enjoy. And there is something for everyone. If you like any of the games I've streamed or it's just generally popular, chances are there's a role and channel dedicated to that video game specifically just for you and like-minded people, so you could talk about the game that you enjoy. Don't worry if it isn't there. Leave a suggestion, and if me and my mods approve, we can add it to the server. Also, I did make it my resolution this year to read more books, and I've already finished 2, and for me, that's a lot. And there is a dedicated channel for reading, so if you want to talk about your current reads or look for any recommendations, come join the server and we could start our own little book club. If there's enough of us there, we could make it a regular thing. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you like plants, cooking, art, D&D, exercise, or you just want to show off your fluffy, scaly, or feathery babies, feel free to join the Discord and hang out with me and my friends for a little bit. Okay, plug out of the way. Last thing before the end. I know I keep disappearing and reappearing and making promises and then not living up to them before disappearing again. I promise I really am doing much better mentally. I'm learning how to prioritize things differently and to take care of myself more. And I just want to say that Twitch and YouTube are not going to be my top priority. That may come as a surprise to a lot of people who have tried to keep up with my posts, promises, and disappearances, but I'm just in a different stage of life right now from where I started. I love what I do on YouTube and Twitch, what I make with them both, but it's just not going to be as big of a priority for me now as it was before. I want to do this for fun, and I want to make things that I think people will care about, and I want to make connections with people. I just want to have fun and do things at my own pace and at my own leisure. I'm at a point right now where I just want to get through school and one day, hopefully, own a home. And I just don't see these platforms doing that for me. Not right now. And you know, things could change. Who knows? I cannot tell the future, but as of right now, that's the way things are. But I do want to be slightly more consistent. So without making any big promises of any servers, series, or schedules, I do want to upload more than just this video this year. So right now, that's my goal, and we'll see how that goes. All right, thank you so much for watching. I know that was a lot. If you stuck through all the way to the end, do you like me? For real, if you did make it this far into the video, you might enjoy some other things that I've worked on. You could check out my channel trailer right here, or you could check out another video I've made right there. Thanks for watching.